Dave Cologne look, ladies and gentlemen. What? There's better food out here than Don Pepe's. Write it down. Totono's, L&B Spumoni Gardens. Get real. Don't mispronounce it, Ben. Totono's, okay? It's not quite closed, Ben. We'll have the discussion later. I'll fill you in. They're looking for a buyer. Listen, thank you everybody for joining us. I'm Jano Lieber, MTA Chair and CEO. I'm here with Demetrius Critchlow. He's the guy in the tie. He's the interim president of New York City Transit, Chief Customer Officer, and always properly attired Shanifa Riera, the one and only. Listen, as July 4th approaches, New Yorkers are planning their beach days. This is a fun time, and transit is by far the most affordable way to travel. From Long Island to Coney Island, from Orchard Beach to Rockaway Beach, and out even to Montauk or Milford, Connecticut, MTA is the greenest and most hassle-free way to get there. Why sit in traffic when you can beat the rush in transit and you can return calls and catch up on your TikToks? You don't have to worry about all those aggravated drivers in the congestion. It's going to be even better this summer as we roll out new service enhancement on 6 subway lines, plus the Rockaway Park shuttle. Demetrius will fill you in on some of the details in a moment. But this is a no-brainer. We're here at Coney Island. Weekends have rebounded faster than any other part of the week or the month in our post-COVID era. This is the highest percentage of pre-COVID ridership that we see anywhere in the MTA system. We want to do our share and support this as we all continue to come back from COVID and enjoy the incredible weather and the beaches of New York. New York is a beach town. Everybody forgets it. Beaches, beaches, beaches. Take the train, take the bus. And adding service the way the MTA is doing is the way to support New Yorkers getting full advantage. So with that, let me turn it over to the one and only Demetrius Critchlow.
Good morning. It's great to be here in Coney Island. These enhancements are going to be big. What we're talking about is increased and improved service on the B, D, J, and M service, as well as the 3 and 5. This is going to expand service for across the boroughs, for the outer boroughs, as well as for our Manhattan customers. This will be increased midday service on the B, D, J, and M lines, but also weekend service for the 3 and 5 lines. Now, in total, this will be an additional 500 trips. 500 trips for our week customers, on top of the 700 trips that we've already added in the increased service of the past. So, since I'm here to talk about increases in service, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about one that I'm very excited about. While I can't offer you a trip to Aruba or to Greece, what I can offer you is great service to one of our New York beaches in the Rockaways. So now, the Rockaway Park shuttle will be operating with 10 cars, an additional 5 cars to what it was operating, and will be extended to run from Rockaway Boulevard on the weekends, as opposed to where it was generally running from Broad Channel Station previously. To get to the beach, you can board any A train on the weekends to Ozone Park or to Far Rockaway and get a transfer to the beach. We've also committed to running this special service on July 4th weekend on a Thursday. So just know that there's no better place for you or your family or friends to be than in the beach for Independence Day. This service not only makes it easier for New Yorkers to be able to enjoy their time, but also recognizes, acknowledges, and addresses the need that we have for increased capacity for our customers during that period. So whether it's your intent to catch some sun and waves in the Rockaways, or if your intent is to come to Coney Island to get a hot dog or ride the cyclone, New York City Transit, the MTA is here to provide that service to you. That is what we're committing to, the best service possible for our customers. So, on top of the added service, we also have been adding additional R211 trains to the A service. So not only are you going to get to ride with the extended service, it will be the best service that we have to offer with our new trains, expanded doorways. The AC is going to be as crisp and clean as you can imagine it, just for our customers. That's our goal, providing world-class customer service and a frequency that customers can deal with and love. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Shanifa Riera, our Chief Customer Officer.
Thank you, Demetrius. And as you mentioned, this 500 additional service is what our customers have been asking for, and we'll breathe a sigh of relief, especially as we continue throughout the rest of the summer and experience this heat wave and this lovely weather. So take the train to the beach, take the buses to the beach, do everything you can to use mass transit to have fun in the sun. And from a customer perspective, we are encouraging our customers, if you have not done so already, to sign up for our Weekender newsletter so you can get an understanding of what service planning is taking place and map your trips accordingly, whether it's also in addition to train time and our MyMTA app. So again, get out of your car, enjoy all of New York City has to offer, including our amazing beaches, and take the train to the beach. Thank you.
All right, we got questions. We seem to have some. How about Samantha Liebman starting us off from New York One? Sam.
I have to step up here. Can you just talk about ridership numbers, the trends that you've seen since COVID, why these lines, and what percentage increase have you seen, peak, off-peak, and yeah.
Sure. Listen, I don't have the numbers line by line at my fingertips, but the overall picture is apples to apples with pre-COVID, we're like at 80%. That accounts for the reality of a little additional fare evasion. And what's happened is we're seeing a lot more travel on the weekends and nights and off, what we used to be called off-peak, compared to just the traditional peaks. So people are coming back to the office, people are coming back to traditional commuting, but they're especially using the MTA when they have somewhere they want to go, whether it's to visit friends or go out for the night or get out to visit relatives. They're choosing transit, and that's a great sign.
So did that factor into increasing service at these times?
Absolutely. Good. It's a good point. We're trying to respond to the customers where they are, and what they're telling us is they love using transit for these discretionary trips, the fun trips, the off-hour trips, and that's why we're growing service, especially to the beaches.
All right, let's go to Dave Colon from Streets Blog here in person in Coney Island, everybody.
Okay, you're going to hold the mic. Jano, I wanted to ask, there's been some discussions about how one way to rescue congestion pricing is to lower the toll, change it in some various ways, only trucks, as Scott Reckler said. I'm wondering if you can tell us what exactly is the mechanism for that? Would you guys have to convene a new TMRB? Would it have to exactly exist in the structure of the environmental assessment where it can only be $9 at the lowest?
Dave, honestly, I don't know anything about those discussions. I've seen some of the same material that you're referring to in the press, but I don't know anything about what is being talked about, if anything's being talked about.
What is the mechanism to do that? Do you know that?
I don't know the answer. I mean, you of all people have covered the environmental assessment and understand that creates some constraints on what can be done, but I'm not going to comment on stuff that I don't really know about.
All right, let's go to Carol D'Ioria, 1010 wins, 92.3 with a completely different and uplifting topic. Carol, go ahead.
So I have two questions. One is about the service here, BDJM. It's my understanding only the D goes to the beach. So what's the enhanced service?
Well, do you not consider Brighton Beach the beach?
Which line
B.
goes to
B
the
goes
B?
to Brighton Beach.
So B goes to Brighton, D goes to Coney Island, and the others?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. Do they go
which ones are you asking about? I'm going to look at
JM 3 and 5. They go to the beach as well?
So we actually split up the increases aren't specifically for the beach. It's really to address what our customers have been saying. So we announced earlier that we would have several phases of increases. The B, D, J, and B, D, J, and M were part of our midday increases and our late evening increases. And then the 3 and 5 were tied to weekend increases. The additional service that we're talking about for the beach is the extension of the Rockaway shuttle, which takes the train, which adds a train instead of going from the Broad Channel, takes it to Rockaway Park.
And then the other question, just to follow up, even though you haven't been privy to negotiations, would $9 help?
Listen, I don't have any idea what discussions are happening. You could go back and look at the environmental assessment, but I'm just not going to comment on it. Listen, we're here. You may have noticed from my attire, we're here to talk about how New Yorkers can use transit to go to the beach. That is what we're here today about. But I'm happy to stand here in this wonderful sun as long as necessary to take the same questions over and over. Thank you.
All right, let's go to Jose Martinez from the city. Jose, do you know he's going to yield to his colleague from the New York Post? Kevin Sheehan is right there. Kevin.
Hey, how you doing? So you just mentioned fare evasion, and you also mentioned we could use some more revenue for the MTA. So last year, well, actually, you know all these numbers better than I do. 13.6% subway riders aren't paying the fare. Half the bus riders, well, 45% aren't paying the fare. So according to your own numbers, that cost the MTA over $700 million last year, and you can't jam more cops in the subway than we already have. I mean, with the
Well, what do you? On what basis do you say that?
the National Guard being put in this spring and all the, well, regardless,
You, as the New York Post, against cops being utilized to support to
That's
push
not-
back on fare evasion? Is that
that's-
the nature of the question?
That's not the question.
Go ahead.
What's the question, Kevin? I
what's
didn't
the
actually
question?
hear
I'm-
the
I'm
question.
I'm sorry. I was just asking.
What's the question?
The question was about fare evasion and crime. Is there any measure on the books to increase efforts to thwart fare
Have you
evasion?
noticed did you go through this station by any chance when you on the way out here, or did you drive?
I drove.
Okay. So if you had gone into the station, you would have seen there are about 8 or 10 different allied security guards. Their job is to make sure that the gate, the exit gate, what we call the slam gate, is not put open so that people can come in. There are gate guards. We've got them about 40 different stations, Demetrius, about 40 different stations where we have the worst fare evasion problems. That has become the slam gate has become the superhighway of fare evasion. Everybody in New York who rides transit knows that, and we're taking serious action. The other thing we're doing is, right now is we have applied and we're pushing hard for the fire code authorities in Albany to give us the power, in effect, to delay the opening of the gate so people don't use it as an exit, go through the turnstiles when they exit as they should, because again, we don't want the gate open, people walk in. We've also done a whole bunch of things to make it more difficult to get over the existing turnstiles, re-engineering the turnstiles to eliminate backcocking, putting in fins so that people can't jump over. That's being done widely. And we're also, it's no secret that we've got an RFP out for a brand new turnstile and fare array that will be more preventative of fare evasion because of the growth in that particular challenge. So there's a ton of stuff going on. I am the one who called out the scourge of fare evasion 2 years ago when everybody was saying, what are you talking about? Why are you focused on that? We're trying to get people back to work. And I said, no, there's fare evasion, it's growing, and we need a blue ribbon panel to give us a series of recommendations. They produced an extensive report, you may not know this, and we are implementing those all one by one. So the MTA is all over fare evasion. What we also do is we have done a bunch of things to make sure that fare evasion is not a crime of poverty by pushing hard for people to be informed about and get signed up for the discounted fare for low-income people that's known as Fair Fares. So the MTA, together with our partners at NYPD, who are giving out 150% the number of tickets or tab summonses that they did pre-COVID, is all over fare evasion, and we're pushing back on it real hard. This is a national problem, Kevin. All over America, transit systems are struggling with the issue of fare evasion and, frankly, some indicia of disorder, some indicators of disorder. The MTA is we're not ceding an inch. This is not just about money, it's about New Yorkers feeling like the public space is orderly and fair to everybody, and we're on it.
All right, Shanifa, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah. So, I mean, in addition to the fair piece, I would just like to acknowledge and thank the mayor and the city council for the extra additional $20 million that was added to the Fair Fares program and raising the federal poverty income level, which, you know, moving it up to 145%, we now have 200,000 new additional customers that are now eligible for Fair Fares. So, Kevin, to sort of build on the chairman's invitation to walk inside, we have a customer service center here at this location with like many locations across the city, which we actually do Fair Fare enrollment here once a month, as well as other locations across the city.
All right, let's move on to our friend Ben Brockfeld there from AM New York, back on the transit beat today. Ben, welcome.
I'm a big fan of the transit beat, as you know. Hi, Jano. Two questions. First, you know, you're talking about. Sorry, you were talking at the board last month that you're gonna be talking operations cuts at this coming board meeting. Due to you know, the effects of congestion pricing. So with that in mind, why make this announcement now about these lines? Couldn't you just have to cancel it later? And how long is this going to be permanent, or how long is that going to be?
So again, there are lots of ways that we adjust schedules and adjust service and also save money. The MTA when we have to save money, we don't just cut service. That's not the first thing we do. We have a track record of actually looking for efficiencies. Ben, you know, when we did the operating budget deal a year and a half ago with the legislature led by the governor, we committed to $400 million of savings without cutting service, without cutting personnel. And we're going to, you know, we don't look first to cut service when we are faced with operating budget issues. That's, broadly speaking, that's our policy. Number two is, we are trying to get New Yorkers back in the habit of using transit in the post-COVID era. That's our core mission, and we'll be slow to cut things that speak directly to, you know, what we have to do to encourage New Yorkers to use transit, and serving the ways that they are stepping up, like going to discretionary travel to the beach and recreation and weekend travel and so on, is something that's very important to our mission. And finally, we don't know the scope. It's premature to say what the scope of those operating budget impacts are. We're, as you know, Ben, always upfront about our financial condition. We're never going to stop saying, hey, this is where things are headed. But we are still in the process of determining what are the operating budget impacts of the congestion pricing temporary pause. And we'll fill you in and always be upfront and transparent at the next board meeting when those are clarified.
All right, we're going to go to, no, Jose Martinez wants to take back the balance of his time. Jose from the city, go ahead.
All right.
Hello. Real quick question, Jano. On the matter of retail, and I'm reminded of it because we're here at Stillwell Terminal, how is the transit system doing in terms of filling retail space? And can you speak a little bit, please, to that program where some of the artists and musicians have been going in empty slots?
Yeah, honestly, Jose, for me to give you an accurate, a little more factual feedback on that, I'd have to go back and check the numbers. But we're moving in the right direction. Grand Central, the leasing has been super fast, super energized, and a lot of positive leasing there. With our major spaces, the major retail areas like what you get at the Port Authority Bus Terminal, Times Square, Rock Center, we are nailing down or have in process pretty active RFPs and negotiations, that's all moving along in the right direction. The bigger challenge, it's no secret to you, is these one-off newsstands that are on platforms, and that is not a business that seems to be economic anymore for those folks. So we've been trying to figure out how to energize and enliven those spaces, and that's where we got the art program. And we've had bites from some major New York institutions, not just Chashama, which does public art all over New York, but some major museums as well. I think you heard about the Whitney and some of the others. So we will give you, thanks to the efforts of Tim Minton and his crack staff, a more detailed snapshot of where we are. But those are the big picture issues. It's positive, and you know, there's movement on Stillwell as well.
All right, in the spirit of we're here adding service to beaches, it's summer, we're in a courteous mood, we're going to go to Ben Brockfeld.
Oh, we are? I forgot that, because when I was talking to Kevin, I forgot we were in a courteous mood. I'm sorry.
He'll get over it. So, well, the hot dogs are later, but
Yeah,
Ben, go ahead. One last question.
Okay. Demetrius, you said a little earlier that the Rockaway Park shuttle is going to have 10 cars now, right? So, you know, Jano, you said a couple weeks ago that with the G train shutdown afterwards, after all the signal modernization is done, that it'd be under consideration to restore it to 10-car trains because of ridership. I mean, I would assume the G...
Overstatementus maximus. Misquotation extensivus. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, maybe that's a misquotation, but either way, in the vein of the misquotation,
yeah.
You know, doesn't the G have more ridership than the Rockaway Park shuttle, and would that mean you guys have enough cars to add to the G?
Listen, we're providing special service for special summer weekends on the Rockaway Park shuttle. Demetrius gave you that. It's clearly the weekends when there's going to be a surge. The regular Rockaway Park shuttle in the depths of winter is a different matter. So we're not comparing it. It's the weekend, the special weekends, number one. Number two, what I said about the G train is we are designing the signal system and the track redo that is going on right now in this outage over the summer weekends, so that in future, when ridership justifies it, the G train could accept longer train sets. That's what I said. That remains our position, but we're not promising that when the job is done, that there'll be a change in the service pattern.
All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate you coming to the beach today. We'll get you here more quickly with new service. Thanks everybody.